when you dream alone, it is only a dream. But when we dream together, it becomes a reality. I want you to dream with me today so that we'll make a better generation of men who will treat women right. Hi, welcome to your favorite channel, What the Bible Says with Ngozi Atiti. My name is Ngozi Atiti, and today I have another topic I want us to discuss and ponder about. I'm very passionate about this topic because it kind of concerns humanity in general, and it kind of concerns humanity in a very sensitive way. So I'm going to start like this. I'm going to start with a question. Grapes or rapes? Now you might want to wonder, why this comparison? Now we all know that grape is a berry that is eaten as fruit. Like when the Bible talks about grapes, it talks about grapes in a symbolic way. Because grape stands for abundance, it stands for wealth, it stands for fertility, But when you now talk of rape, like there are two different things entirely. But don't worry, I'll bring us close. I'll bring you along. Rape is not a word that anyone wants to hear, because it talks about violence. It's a forceful sexual activity done against somebody. It's usually a weaker person. It is done it is done with a threat to injury. Sometimes it leads to death. And in most cases, if it did not lead to physical death, it leads to emotional and psychological death. It leaves the victim, in a very bad state. Now, we're going to look at the Bible. What does the Bible talk about grapes and rape? And why am I bringing these two things together? Now, with all the bad news going on internet concerning rape, it has been so much in the recent times. I try so hard to ignore it. I try so hard to, wave it aside. But the more I try, the harder I try to push it aside, the more it keeps coming. And the recent one, it comes in such a manner that, being a mother who has children, who has female children, and also has a male child, it kind of touches me from both sides. And at the same time, there are some of the news that comes that it touches me so emotionally that I can't even, I want to weep. Where did this generation, where did we as a nation, as a humanity, where have we gotten it wrong? Where have we moved from searching grapes to settling for rapes? Seriously, where have we gotten it wrong? So I want us to rub minds together. If you're a parent, I want you to come closer and let's rub our minds together. How do we stop this disgraceful act? Now, let's look at what the Bible says. What does the Bible talk about grapes? Follow me to Deuteronomy 23, verse 24. Let's look at what the Bible talks about grapes there. In Deuteronomy 23, verse 24 says, "When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou may eat grapes thy fill at thy own pleasure, but thou shalt not put any in your vessel." Okay, so grapes is the only thing that the Bible permitted us, or permitted anyone, that when you come into somebody's territory, you can eat to your fill. But what I am seeing the opposite now, especially in our male folks, with our male children, with our sons, with those that are supposed to be fathers, with those that are supposed to be husbands to people. Now, what happens is that some of these people, some of these men, when they get into their neighbor's territory, instead of eating grapes, they now opt out for rapes. Now, this is what I want us to discuss. Where did we get it wrong? As a generation, where have we gotten it wrong? Where has the men moved from searching for grapes to not settling for rapes? So when I read up all these annoying and heartbroken kind of news concerning women that are crushed by those who are supposed to protect them, or by those who are supposed to love them, or by those who are supposed to even care for them, but those are the people that force them and kill them emotionally for the rest of their life just for 5 minutes of selfish pleasure. So I sit back, I wonder and ponder where this generation has gotten it wrong. So when I search the scriptures, I wonder, have we deviated from the instruction given to us? Have we deviated from what the Bible tells us to do? It says when you go into your neighbor's vineyard, eat grapes to your full. But rather, when we go to our neighbor's territory, we rather opt out for rape. So sad. Now, follow me let's go to Numbers 13 from verse 21 to 24. Let's see what the Bible says there. I read. The Bible says in Numbers chapter 13 from verse 21 to 24, it says, "So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rehob, as men come to Hamath. And they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes. And they bare it between two upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook of Eshcol, because of the cluster of grapes, which the children of Israel called down from thence. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. Now, having read that passage, it tells me that great men go for grapes. That passage shows me that real men go in search of grapes. Numbers 13 verse 30. Now, let's look at what the Bible says in Genesis chapter 34 from verse 6 to 7. And if there's on your own, you can read all down all the way to verse 31. But let's look at what the Bible says in Genesis chapter 34 from verse 6 to 7. It says, "Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. Now the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved. And they were very angry because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter. For such a thing ought not to be done." Yes, it is a disgraceful thing to settle for rape, because it is only a disgraceful man that will make the choice of wanting to rape somebody. Only a lazy man will want to choose rape over grape, because it's of no need trying to overpower the weak. Like really, the Bible says treat women as though we are weaker vessels. So why do you want to overpower an already weak vessel? Why do you want to overpower somebody who is already weak? Like what the Bible has already told you, treat like a weaker vessel if you're not a lazy man. Only lazy people want to do that. You see, and only a disgraceful person will want to forcefully lie a female, a person. Let's teach our sons, let's teach our male children to be great. Let's teach them to choose greatness. Let's teach them to go for grapes, because only great men go for grapes. Only lazy people will say they don't like grapes because the vine is too high for them to reach. It's only lazy people that give such excuses. And when I started this talk, I told us about the significance of grapes: abundance, fertility, wealth. So let us, channel their mind as parents. Let us, try to, recondition their minds towards that. Let them opt out to think of things that will make them make a difference in their generation, in their environment. Let them choose to be great, either in their field, in their profession, in any way that it will help humanity. Parents, I know that naturally it comes naturally for us to teach our female children on how to be a good mother, how to be a good wife, how to cook well, how to dress well, how to be mannered, how to speak well in the public. It comes naturally with our female children. But I notice that doesn't come that too often with our male sons. So that is why I am coming out now to speak that if you have a male child, if you have a son, if you have a male child under your care, let us extend similar teaching to them. Let's teach our male sons how to cook, how to keep the house well, how to dress well, how to talk politely in the public, how to treat a woman, how to care for a woman, how not to hit a woman, how not to touch rudely, how not to talk rudely to a woman. I mean, if it is where we have missed it as a generation, let's make it right. Let's start making it right. As we're teaching our females, same thing, let's teach our males. Because if the females are good, but they marry the bad males. When I mean the bad males, that is the bad trained or the wrong brought up. Maybe I should say when they marry the wrongly brought up males. Maybe I should put it that way. Then it still creates a problem because it takes two to tango. So let us extend similar teaching to both of them. Let's take away the discrimination. Let's take away the barrier. Let's take away the wall that both male and female be under the same good teaching. This is what I am opting for. I have already started teaching my male child on how to treat a woman politely and nicely, how to be a good father in future, and how to be a good husband, and how to be a good citizen. And I want you as a parent, let us continue doing that. I want to challenge you to do same so that we will stop this disgraceful generation. I mean, the disgraceful men in the men that has opted to choosing disgraceful thing by forcing females under threat of injury or death to lie with them. That's not what the Bible says. That is not right. Thank you for listening to me today, and until I see you in another video, please let us train our sons right. Let us teach them how to make a difference. When you dream alone, it is only a dream. But when we dream together, it becomes a reality. I want you to dream with me today so that we'll make a better generation of men who will treat women right. Thank you and God bless you. Bye-bye. Shalom.